As you walk through the valley of the shadow of hell, you will realize that there is something ahead. Something that lurks behind the dark veil. A veil that is beyond our own comprehension. Beyond the void.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void
Horror Podcast.
That's right, it's episode 138, and today we're going to be doing Black Magic and Black Magic 2. Woohoo!
Yeah!
So we're back into the Asian horror.
So excited.
Which these are some old 70s, believe it or not, films, which are pretty, pretty odd and out there shit from the Shaw Brothers. Which, if you guys don't know, Shaw Brothers did a lot of martial arts stuff back in the day for many, many decades. And they also did horror over the course of like 2-3 decades, sparse throughout. It didn't always end up perfectly, but there were usually some pretty wild, fucked up shit. So we're going to be talking about these two movies today. And I'd never seen them, just like on different websites and shit, just randomly. But Amazon, dude, Amazon has been like just pumping out all these like
weird old movies.
Right, dude. Like I was like, holy shit, there's like all these like Shaw Brothers films that you can't get in the United States, by the way.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like I looked it up on the Blu-ray copies, because this was in 1080p, both of these. They're on Amazon Prime Video, guys, for those of you who have access to it. But the only 1080p copies are literally in the UK. So I was a little confused by that, but whatever. If you guys remember, we did like stuff like Boxer's Omen, Curse of Evil, like quite a few different other Shaw Brothers stuff. I don't know if Curse of Evil was a Shaw Brothers, but I'm pretty sure it was. But anyway,
not that I remember, but
it's the same director, I think. So, but anyway, so how have you been? What's going on with you?
I've been fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Busy.
It's fine. Just busy.
Busy ass fucking week, she's been telling me.
Busy ass fucking week.
Hang in there, Brittany. We're gonna make it through.
In a week.
And I subjected her to these like fucked up weird movies. At least
it's fine.
One of the things that I was like, okay,
made me watch worse.
Yeah, I was like, thank God that these weren't like the super rapey kind like that we've seen in the past. Because I was like, oh fuck,
yeah,
I didn't even think about that. But yeah, these ones actually weren't that bad.
They weren't that terrible.
Yeah,
I mean they were terrible, but they weren't that terrible.
Plus, guys, also we're going to be doing a couple of new movies that are coming out, because we got Jim Jarmusch's fucking zombie film. We got fucking Brightburn coming up. Maybe I'll do Ma as like a video thing on the side or whatever.
I don't want to go to the theater for that.
Right. Yeah, that one's different. I've been fucking playing a lot of video games with some new buddies and shit. A lot of creative individuals, and there were a lot of playing of the Mordhau game, which is like this old medieval game. And fucking holy shit, dude, that game has consumed my fucking life. For those of you that only play on console, I hope you get a taste of this in the future, because I'm pretty sure you will, because this game's become really successful. There was a game called Chivalry back in the day that a lot of people liked too, that was very similar to this, actually. It's almost exactly the same, only this has a little bit more to it than those games. So, but I've been playing that with like a bunch of new people, and
I'm gonna start streaming just so people can watch how terrible I am at video games.
Well, if you can be entertaining, that's all I really.
Oh yeah, I'm hilarious. I scream
so you think.
Basically the whole time, but I'm so fucking bad at video games. I don't know why I'm so bad at them, but I'm just maybe because I don't care to learn how to actually play them.
Well, that's what I was saying. Hey, yeah, it's practice.
How I play like Mortal Kombat and shit, I just hit a bunch of buttons at the same time and hope I'm doing a combination, and then I end up beating the best undefeated person at fucking Mortal Kombat at a party, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
It's probably because like you're doing shit that nobody does.
I
like,
literally
what the fuck was
this
that?
is what I do playing Mortal Kombat. That
Right.
is it.
Well, that's how I would say like 90% of people who play that
Any
game.
type of fighting game. The same with like the Pokemon ones or whatever it is. Smash Brothers.
I tend to try to play like a little bit of horror, like more horror.
Yeah.
But I've been
Well, yeah.
stuck on that shit, and we've been having a fucking blast.
Yeah, I'll scream.
We're out of fucking control. Like, I wonder sometimes if like we're gonna get in trouble for like streaming it or something. You know what I mean? We're fucking out of control.
I want to come on one time when you do it. My favorite's when you like dropped your cup or whatever.
Oh,
Oh my god.
that's actually one of my emotes because like when
So
you're
fucking funny.
when you're an affiliate, you get to make like 3 different emotes, and one of mine is me going like after I drop the cup that you're talking about.
It's so good.
But guys, like seriously, I know I talk about this, but seriously, come by the stream and hang out. We've been having a lot of fun. And we always have a good group of people talking about whatever, horror, fucking all that shit. But yeah, you should come by too, Brittany.
Eventually.
Yeah, you should.
I did yours once, and it was actually really funny.
I'd
the
like
Jason
to think
game,
I'm funny, but
or the Friday the 13th
dude,
game.
the people that I've met, you would fucking have a riot with.
Yeah.
Like
there was
seriously,
there was only like 2 other people in the chat that day, and I was like,
if you like dick jokes, you're gonna fucking love this.
then what you're saying is you need me.
Yes, I need. You're the hero we all need.
I'm
Brittany.
Captain Dick Joke.
Anyway, guys, we're not going to be doing any news, so I think it might be that time.
Yeah, it is.
Fuck.
Horrorshots.
This week, we're going to be obviously talking about Black Magic 1 and 2. And in these movies, they do a lot of rituals, like good, bad rituals.
Witchery.
Mostly like love potions and death curses. So basically, some of them are short, and some of them are long.
Fundamentals of witchcraft.
Well, the death ones would be short, I would think, but...
Ideally.
But in the movie, they do a lot of love potions, and they always have these like weird green drinks. And I was like, well, maybe we can figure out some way to kind of combine some of the ingredients without actually using the real ingredients that they use in it. So we're coming up with this drink from the movies called a Love Kong potion. One of the characters in the second movie is called Kang Kong. And I don't know why. Maybe it's just his name is Kong Kang. Because, they do the surname first. Because these movies are made in China. Hong Kong. There's also, they said, one of them said China. But they recorded the first one in like Malaysia or whatever. But
Something.
You get the point. So in the movie, they get these drinks. They have to do all kinds of weird shit, including titty milk.
So why is there always titty milk in Asian films?
I think there's an obsession. Maybe it's just like mother's milk or something. I don't know. Something wholesome.
Mickey's milk.
Mike's milk, yes. That was our Takashi Miike episode, guys. Mike Me Crazy episode.
Mickey me crazy.
Yeah. But this one, so we figured, in the movie they use a lot of titty milk, so we figured we use Bailey's, to have
Titty milk.
The milk.
It's the same consistency, I guess.
Yeah. So we also have, so you put a third of that in the shot. You can layer this, although I don't think the creme de menthe actually layers. You could try if you know how, but we also have Maker's Mark. You're going to put a third of that just to spice up the drink and make it a little bit stronger. And also, you're going to put a third of creme de menthe. So Bailey's, Maker's Mark, and creme de menthe. And like I said, you don't have to squirt any titty milk in it, but please...
You can if you want.
Yeah, you can if you really want, but... You will have to hang a dead animal from the person that you're going to put the mark on for love. So you're actually going to make them drink it, and you're not going to drink it at all.
Yeah, you have to hang the dead animal like outside of their house.
Yeah,
or something.
it's just a
a weird thing.
Yeah, it's just a thing.
Witchcraft.
No big deal. But yeah,
No big deal.
if you have a neighbor who you hate,
It's no big thing. It's fine.
Yeah, no, please don't kill animals. I'll
Don't.
fucking murder you.
I will kill you. Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys would love to try a Love Kong potion, all you have to do is go to longlivethevoid.com and check out our hashtag Horrorshots section now. Well, that's it for Horrorshots.
Horrorshots.
So now is the time to dance into the magic spectrum of weird, Asian, and sometimes absurd Asian horror cult cinema of black magic, motherfuckers. And we're gonna do that shit right motherfucking now. All right, guys, we're back, and we're going to kick it off with the first movie, obviously, which Brittany did. I've been doing all the first ones of each episode, so I was like, Brittany, you do the first one this time.
Yeah, Alex always gets it over with, nice and easy.
And by the way, guys, just to preface this, when we do these old movies, they didn't have IMDb back in 1976, so it's not exactly the most organized, and some of these pictures of actors and shit like that are very... It's like you can't even tell who's who. And like you go to their profile, it's pretty barren. Like it says where they worked or what they've worked on, but it's a little confusing. So, Brittany, why don't you kick it off?
All right, guys. So we're going to start our fucking awesome week off with Black Magic from 1975. An evil magician, really?
Pretty much.
Makes money by charging people to cast deadly spells on the objects of their desires. I mean, I wouldn't call him a magician.
That's what they said a bunch of times in the movie.
I guess that's true. Whatever. This movie was directed by Mang Hua Ho. I'm going to say all these names really wrong. So I apologize.
You think you said it right. It's Mang Hua Ho.
Holy shit, I did.
He also went by Horace Mangua.
I like that better.
Yeah.
He's also directed The Kiss of Death, A Slice of Death, and The Psychopath, and several other movies, actually.
Yep.
It was written by Quang Ni, who wrote Deadly Melody, The Nine Demons, and The Sword Stained with Royal Blood.
And we're going to cross over a little bit of ours. So like in mine, I have movies that I picked out specifically in part 2, because these are the same director and writer.
Oh, it is, huh? Like Alex talked about earlier, this is a Shaw Brothers production. So some of the movies that they've done that you guys might be familiar with is The Devil's Mirror, Fists of Vengeance, The Boxer's Omen, which we've reviewed, Dynasty of Blood, and Five Deadly Venoms, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
They've done a lot of fucking movies.
They've done a lot of really creative shit.
Yeah, lots and lots and lots of martial art movies.
Yeah.
It stars Long Ti, who plays Zhu. It's just XU.
Oh, Zhu, yeah.
Zhu, who's in Avenge Me, Death Duel, and Palace Carnage, which is a dope-ass name for a movie, and I kind of want to look that one up.
Palace Carnage.
It also has Li Lo, who plays Lang, who is in Ghost Ballroom, Flying Dagger, and Black Spot. Has Ni Tien, who plays Luo, who was also in Hex, The Magic Blade, and Human Lanterns, which is another one that sounds amazing.
That's on Amazon.
Human Lanterns?
Yes.
The name is fantastic, so I'm like, it's probably not as great as it sounds, but...
Like, would it be too much, guys, that if we did another, or would it be too much to you?
We need some break. I need a break.
It's when I get in the mood for these weird Asian cults.
Let me look up this one.
Yeah.
If it sounds like something I'm interested in doing, then we can do it the week after.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Because Brittany won't be here next week, but we're going to have one of my buddies who goes by the name Try Hard Heroes on Twitch and YouTube. He's a big YouTube star. He's famous as shit. Actually, he'll laugh at me for saying that, but
but I'll mull it over.
Yeah.
It also has Lily Lee, who plays Qming, who's in The Web of Death, The End of the World, and One Armed Hero. And last but not least, Feng Ku, who plays Shan, who's in Death Kick, The Vengeance, and Devil and Master.
Okay.
So, Alex, what were your thoughts on this one?
Well, back when I was kind of like looking for weird Asian horror films, I had seen these movies on IMDb, and because we were doing like Curse of Evil, Boxer's Omen, they always give you like suggestions on IMDb of like what movies you might want to watch in case you are interested in this movie. So I always saw it pop up, so it's just been one of those ones, and I knew it was from the Shaw Brothers library of oddities, so I was like, hey, let's do that. Which, as Brittany mentioned, they do a lot of really cool, like, kung fu, silly action films. They range from amazing to just weird. Mm-hmm. They had a spell there where they wanted to do, like, reach a different market with horror. And so they dabbled in some pretty, really, like, seriously odd gems. But we've done quite a few Shaw Brothers outings on here before. So I was curious to see what these movies were all about, which is kind of like my crusade on this podcast, is to watch stuff stuff that I've always been like, oh, I'd love to watch that. Well, now I have a reason and an excuse to. Not that I wouldn't have by myself.
Right.
But this is like the chronicling of a man in horror.
I mean, like, that's how I feel about this shit, too. So I'm like, I can't always be too mad at you when you make me watch stupid shit, because I'm like...
I want to be culturally horror. You know what I mean?
Now I know things. This is fine.
Right. Like, you've seen things that nobody else has seen.
Yeah.
Most people have not seen a lot of these Shaw Brothers films, let me tell you.
Yeah.
But I like weird, so bring it on. I went in pretty blind on these two films. I knew nothing really about them other than what the story said, and really I didn't even care the pictures alone. I was just like, well, that's just weird. Let's just see what this is about. But at first, the trailers I saw and I watched on them weren't all that interesting, really. But I knew that since it was a Shaw Brothers film, that there was going to be a lot more to it. But this is actually pretty tame on the weird spectrum of Shaw Brothers films. Honestly, it's not a terrible film, I would say, but I have heard that the second is much better from a lot of different people. And before I tell you what I think, that's just what I've heard. So I couldn't wait to see that next too. So I was like, well, I got to see if these are connected. I'm going to watch this one, check it out. But this one's pretty straightforward. Lots of love, death, black magic, white magic even. The main ingredients to a pretty silly fucking Asian cult film. But I wouldn't go rushing out to see it or own it, but I wouldn't mind adding it to my collection at some point if it came out on Blu-ray. I'm sure that it would probably be one of the more expensive ones just because it's not popular. Because I'm sure there's not a lot of people just like waiting for this. There are, but not as many as you would think.
Yeah, there's probably like 2.
Right. Well, no, I'm definitely sure there's a lot, because there's a lot of people that were following them through the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and so on. But the story's pretty interesting to me, and I actually enjoyed my watch. After watching Mo, aka Boxer's Omen, though, it severely pales in comparison to the weird shit, which is what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
But this one kind of comes out as a little bit more average at best. It's a very straight-laced kind of story with like a couple of weird moments in it, but it's still a pretty complex story, though. It had me lose kind of like what was going on a couple of times, because they like flip it back and forth, and it's like really hard to explain without spoiling it. But there was a little bit of gore in it. Nothing shocking here, guys, so just your normal shit. If you like kind of black magic stuff with like a quirky 70s story, you might like it. It kind of ranges from typical to what the fuck is happening. I'd hope, there would be a lot more black magic showdowns on offer, but it was kind of lame. Still weird enough for some of you to find it fun. Lots of magic spells that are countered and recountered, then countered again, and so on and so forth. Lots of shitty people deceiving one another, like most of their films in the horror genre. And it's really kind of just a story of love and greed in a lot of ways. Mixed in with some good and bad magic stuff to spice up the story, I guess. I didn't hate the movie, but I probably give it like a 4. I mean, if you like Shaw Brothers movies, you should probably watch it, but it's definitely not going to be one for everyone. And maybe not even the people that like those kinds of movie, they might not like it as much either, but they'll probably tolerate it more than the average person. So it's not the wild practical effects ones that you probably have come to love if you've seen Shaw Brothers movies. It still has a story that I found interesting enough, even if it takes a little too many turns too quickly. I definitely suggest other movies in the Shaw Brothers catalog long before this, which, these have Blu-ray copies from the UK, which I mentioned, and others don't. Like,
weird.
Why? Like, I mean, the first, maybe, okay, well, I won't say, at least for the first one, I don't understand it. But I guess it's just one of the more straight-laced ones that they thought they can market a lot easier, maybe. Boxer's Omen or Seedings of a Ghost is more my speed, even though that or Oily Maniac, which both of those last two films are pretty rapey, so it's not exactly enjoyable. But Boxer's Omen definitely needs a Blu-ray treatment, so perhaps, like I said, they thought that these ones were more tame, although the second one does get a little bit wilder without spoiling it. So, but I'd say if you guys are into any of the stuff that I've mentioned, go nuts. Watch it. Check it out. It's up on Amazon Prime anyway. So if you're like bored and you're like, I just want to watch something weird,
Yeah, this'll do it.
Yeah. What did you think of it though? Like,
I actually feel pretty similar to you on this. Like, there's a lot of layers to this movie.
yeah.
Which is strange that there would be that many layers to it. I didn't anticipate that whatsoever.
And it's hard to comment on the acting because it's like just typical fare for the time frame, I guess.
Right. So I also would give it probably a 4.
Right.
I feel like I was a little underwhelmed. I expected a little bit more from it,
right,
I think, than what I got, which is surprising because typically when you look at like older, like Asian horror films like this, or in these genres, or Shaw Brothers in particular, like you typically get more of like a punch and like weirdness to what you're experiencing, and this was pretty tame for the most part.
Yeah,
had its moments where it was like just ridiculous, but like not in like
so
a weird way. It was just over the top, like martial artsy way.
The third act does get a little weird.
Yeah, it's just bizarre.
Yeah,
but sort of enjoyably bizarre, and also not enjoyably bizarre. So I don't know. Overall, I think that my experience with the movie was okay. Like, I wasn't the happiest person in the world watching it, but I was laughing.
Yeah.
For the most part, probably a lot of times, like, at points I shouldn't be, because that's my typical MO, I think. The dubbing for this is hilariously bad.
Yeah.
Like, the voices that they choose for certain actors, I don't fucking understand. Like,
it felt okay for me.
Oh, God, no. It was so weird. Like, one of the characters, I can't remember which character at this point, but one of the characters in particular, like, his voice was just so...
shrill?
Weird. It did not fit him at all. And, like, Mouse comes home at that point, and he's like, the fuck is going on? And he's like, why does he have that voice? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. But it's hilariously bad. And that on its own, I feel like almost makes it, because it's just so fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And like, that's always one of the things that I enjoy the most of like films from foreign countries.
Yeah.
When they English dub over them, because I love really bad dubbing.
See, this I didn't mind the dubbing on.
It's so bad.
It is kind of bad, but the movie's not great.
Like,
so
the movie's not great either. So it's like, this is one of those, like, you can't judge their acting necessarily. Like, if I watched it subtitled and not dubbed, I feel like you can judge their acting a little bit better, because you're not listening to a horribly dubbed English version with a weird voice that doesn't match the character.
Right.
And that throws you off. So the second movie is a little bit easier, I would say, not a lot, but a little bit easier to make those types of distinctions. But yeah, I mean, I'm actually kind of glad I watched these. Movies like this are always fun for me.
Yeah,
so
I think so too.
They're just hilarious and over the top and like way more dramatic than they need to be, and that's kind of what I love so much about it. Like the end of this movie in particular is just so fucking over the top and dumb, and I love it. Yeah. I loved every fucking minute of it. I'm like, this is so stupid, but I can't look away. So I don't know, like, who knows? Maybe I'll be down to watch Human Lanterns.
Right. See, that's what I'm saying.
Depending on if it looks interesting enough.
Once you get like a taste of the blood, like you know what I mean? Like the shitty, schlocky fucking cult.
Yeah, these kinds of, I don't mind shit like this though.
Every time we always watch these Asian films, it's like there's nothing else like it. Like these like old cult films that they're just so different than anything that was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, like anywhere else pretty much. Well, there was other movies that have done weird shit too. I'm just saying. Like, you know what to expect when you see these fucking movies, and it's like you have to have a certain taste for these kind of things to like really enjoy them.
Right.
Plus, I mean, like, this isn't a movie, like, normally I would say, well, you don't really need to focus on this kind of thing, you know? But it is pretty complex, like, so you kind of do have to focus, but you can enjoy the ride a little bit, I think. So.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
No. As far as, like, my opinions, it's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say. So you said 4, I said 4. I mean, it could be like a 5, like, average. And these scores are only reflective of the type of subgenre that we're talking about here, like cult Asian cinema, or at least within the Shaw Brothers realm.
Yeah, like neither of these felt. The second one felt more like horror-ish,
right? Okay,
to me than this one. Like this one, I was like, how is this a horror movie? But whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if they had any other categories back then. So maybe.
Yeah, who knows? They're just like, it's weird as fuck, so it's horror movie. Like, it's not indie or artsy, because those aren't categories yet. 75, like, we get a horror film. Oh, it's strange as fuck? Horror film.
Right.
Okay. There's not much trivia on this movie.
Or the second one, guys.
Or the second one. So it's pretty fucking difficult to find anything on these, probably because they were made in the fucking 70s. So there's only a couple things on IMDb that's listed for trivia, none of which is very interesting, but we'll share it with you guys anyways, just in case you were curious.
Yeah.
The film was originally going to be set in Thailand, but they actually changed the filming to Malaysia. So it ended up being filmed in Malaysia instead of Thailand, but they don't say why. It's just they filmed it in Malaysia. It was probably cheaper, is my guess. The original title for this movie was going to be The Magic. Real glad they changed it.
Yeah, Black Magic's way more appealing.
Fucking stupid. This was picked up for distribution in America in 1979. So
yeah, it took a while.
Bad.
But it took a while.
I feel like that's not that bad in comparison to a lot of other movies that take like 8 years to fucking come from their countries here or whatever. Like 4 years is not that bad. Yeah, 4 years. I did math and I hate math. And that's pretty much it. 3 random sort of useless facts.
Well, that's more than what I was able to get, so I'm fine with that. So what?
Couldn't find shit.
Yeah, I mean, basically, what we're gonna do, guys, is we're gonna kind of like break down the movie and some of the spots that we were interested in. This is obviously going to be super spoilery area, so you're gonna want to try to skip over this if you haven't seen it. It doesn't really matter anyway, because personally, I think you're better off watching the second one.
Agreed.
And it doesn't really matter anyway, and I'll explain that when we get into it. But for those of you that don't want any spoilers, here's your warning. Don't do it. You've been warned.
Earmuffs.
So the movie, its first initial impact was there's this woman who goes to a man who practices the dark arts to cast a death spell for her husband and his girlfriend.
Oh, is that what was going on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was confused. I was like, who are these fucking people?
Yeah, she leaves and he hacks basically, well, she hands him like these gold rings, like arm bracelets or something. Yeah. And I'm like, is that how they pay for things? Like I don't know. Like everybody always has these gold rings. I think they just reused it or whatever to make it look cool.
Yeah.
Because it's like supposed to be really expensive, especially for a death curse, because she wanted 2 people to die. But anyway, she leaves and he hacks the flesh off of just a dead woman laying next to him in the same room, by the way. And he throws like this hunk of pig flesh, I think, because it looked like pig skin.
It looked like pork belly.
Yeah. And then he puts it on this grill over a fire. It starts cooking and smoking. And then he chops off her head and puts her head on top of that and burns it, which, you know, the dude kept putting the knife he used on the rotten body, like, in his mouth. Did you notice?
Yeah, that was disgusting.
They do that in both of these movies, by the way.
It's real weird.
I don't know why. It's like, I don't know if they were just trying to say that he's just so into his art.
That's how you get diseases, fool.
Yeah, I wouldn't put fucking dead people's knives in my mouth. But anyway, he makes a few wax voodoo dolls out of the stuff. Apparently it makes wax. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know how he got the wax out of it, because it's just over an open flame. So anyway, and then he makes these dolls made of the obviously the husband and her girlfriend and his girlfriend. And the 2 people start bleeding from random spots because they're like fucking or something at their house while she's away. And they stab needles into these, like a voodoo doll. And they just die. Like the blood starts coming out of their head. Nothing graphic or anything. They just die.
Yeah, it's like very weird, thick jelly blood, too.
Or it's like paint.
It's like, this is a weird consistency.
It was like a fucking paint, dude.
Yeah, it was weird.
Which I actually don't mind. I kind of like that. I don't, like, fuck it. Like, if you're going to do blood, I don't care. I like the cheesy 80s, 70s fucking blood, man. But did you notice that they had one of the needles in the dude's dick? Not in the actual guy, like the voodoo doll.
Figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like it was.
I was like, ooh.
I think he stuck one in her vagina, too.
Did he?
I think so, or her boob.
Well, definitely in the chest.
The boob.
Yeah, I don't know.
Titty spike.
So this basically kicks off the whole fucking thing when the bodies turn up, you know what I mean? Like, first of all, the black magic guy is like, you didn't give me enough money, I'm gonna need more. So she comes back to him, and when she comes back to him, the fucking white magic doctor, whatever, goes to the house where the dead people are and realizes it's black magic. He wastes no fucking time whatsoever. He just sits down and starts chanting, and then the black magic guy is about to get the money from the woman, and suddenly the whole house starts shaking. And like, he's plastering magic canceling things. Like, I've watched some anime and they have these paper that they write this like spell on, and then they put it.
Yeah, it's like cast off spells or whatever.
Right, yeah. It's like a seal or something to prevent magic from getting through.
Yeah.
And he's literally plastered the whole fucking house. He ties her up for some reason, which makes no goddamn sense to me. Maybe because he didn't want her to fucking open the door and try to leave.
Maybe.
So that the magic would get in. But then it's funny because, like, he starts hiding behind this woman and he's like, his face is like melting. Like, it's like getting, like, I don't know what the fuck.
Like burned, yeah.
Was it burned?
It's like getting burned or something. It's weird. It almost looks like taking a magnifying glass to like skin or some shit
right.
like that.
And then like these doors open up, or like a window opens up, and you see two little red lights outside. And then the thing that he's hiding from, he dives through the same window that it opened and then jumps in the water, and then the house crushes.
Disappears, yeah. And
the house just falls over with the lady still tied up inside, which is kind of funny. Which we find out who she is later on, that you don't even realize, by the way. She's the old woman.
Oh, with the coconut.
Yeah.
Kind of thought so.
So, I don't know. That was just weird. They don't really explain that well. It's just like, oh, there's a white magic guy and a black magic guy, whatever.
Fight.
So all of a sudden, we're introduced to this new character who is like leaving a job site. He's like at a construction site or something like that. I can't remember. And he's leaving.
In his tight jeans.
Yeah. He's like totally 70s, rocking the 70s thing.
Adorable.
He like gets like stopped by this rich woman who's no longer married or something like that.
Widow.
Is she a widow? Is that what it was? She's a widow, and she's like trying to hook up with him, but he doesn't want any part of her because he's about to get married to this other woman. And then they have like this moment where she's like trying to set him up to make his wife think he's like cheating on her. There's another guy on top of that who's looking for the black magic guy's name is Sang Chan Mi, who's a black magic doctor, or they just call him a magician at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he tries to get in the good graces of the same rich woman who's trying to hook up with this other guy who's going to get married. And she wants nothing to do with him. So he goes over to her house, and she just busts out his car, throws a brick through it, and she doesn't even know who he is. Like, I don't even understand how they know each other.
I was so confused as to what was going on.
Yeah. I mean, it was cool.
I was like, get it, bitch. Damn. But, like, what did he do to you?
Get out! Get out!
I was like, what the fuck?
I know. She was fucking tripping out, dude.
Yeah.
He was just, like, relaxed on her deck, and she was just like, I don't want that man here again.
She flipped out. It was weird.
I feel like we missed some sort of story element.
Maybe? Yeah. I don't know.
Didn't make any sense. But anyway, so this guy who gets his car fucking wrecked by the rich woman, Lo Yen, I think that's her name. He goes to this black magician to get in the good graces of her. She was Mrs. Chow, but now she's Lo Yen. And he goes to this like really outskirt town and like asks around to find where the magician is. And he stops and asks this old woman like where the magician is, And she was like, "Ooh," and he hands her some money, and then she's got like fucked up teeth too.
After he busts open a coconut.
Yeah, he drinks a coconut. That's right. And
because this is pivotal to the story too.
Yeah, he cracks it, drinks it.
And then the old woman scares him. Yeah,
he gives her money and then hands her the coconut and heads off to the magician. She immediately after like takes the coconut and cuts it in half with a machete. And then when she exposes the coconut, it's like these weird red worms inside.
Yeah, it's like a red liquid with like worms.
It was definitely real though.
Yeah, it was
like
weird.
Those are real worms.
Yeah.
And it felt like they were parasites.
Yeah, they were gross.
It was disgusting. So he'd been drinking this liquid of these parasites or something, and they're all writhing around. But I tried looking it up, by the way, and I didn't find anything. But like I said, they looked real. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's gross. But then he goes to the doctors, or to the black magic doctor.
The doctors.
Yeah, they call him doctor too.
Yeah, it's all over the place here.
But he stumbles on the magician who's actually already helping another woman. And this is the scene that was really weird. Do you want to talk about that?
So this woman is just like naked. sitting on a stump or what the fuck ever, like in his shack thing.
Yeah.
And he's got rice that he like cooked. So he just like slaps rice like on this chick's pussy.
Right after she disrobes in front of him.
So she's naked. He just slaps rice on her vagina, rubs it in there, and then didn't he like lactate her boobs or something? Yeah. He drank fucking.
He
titty
squirts
milk.
her breasts into a saucer.
Yeah, into like a little cup, and he's doing some type of fucking spell or whatever, and then ends up doing shit to the rice.
Right. He asks her for blood and hair.
Blood and hair
of the person she wants to love her.
Yeah, and then eventually gives her the rice that was on her vagina, her pussy rice, and tells her to feed it to the man that she wants to love her, and then like he'll love her forever after he eats her pussy rice. I mean, like that's how it works, right? I mean, that's how I got Mouse to marry me. I fed him pussy rice. Like,
well, and the first thing that I was thinking too is like, well, how the fuck did she get a vial of his blood? I know. Like, I understand getting a little bit, maybe. Like, that's more plausible.
But I was like a full-on vial of blood.
Yeah,
like, he mixed the blood in the milk, the titty
it looked
milk.
like a little Coke vial or something. You know what I mean?
Like a Coke vial.
Don't ask how I know that, okay? Fuck you. But yeah, so then, like, she leaves, and then the guy's, like, all creeping, looking, and he's like, wow, this is weird shit, you know? And then so he asks...
Can I get some of that pussy rice?
Yo, dude, you got any more of that pussy rice?
You got any more of that pussy rice?
Jesus Christ. But, so he asked the magician that he wants to get a magic spell for Lo Yen, Mrs. Chow, which he asks if it actually works, quote unquote. And it actually does work. He's like, well, how much does it cost? I'll give you anything. And he's like, well, I need gold bullion as big as this skull. And he was like, done, I can do it. And he knew he was lying right off the bat. So he gives him a spell, and it works, but only for a night. Mm-hmm. And so he hooks up with this woman. He makes her that drink that we were talking about, which is different. It's a green drink. You can't really tell. And he goes to this party where everybody is, including her. And I think it's her house.
Probably.
And like,
I think it is her house.
Why the fuck is this guy there? And then she just like doesn't even recognize him almost.
Maybe she felt bad for breaking his car window.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Anyway, she drinks the drink, falls in love with him, has sex with him that night in her house. And then she wakes up in the morning and she's like, what the fuck? Because he hangs this little fucking doll, this wax doll above a plant outside of her window, and it snaps and breaks. And as soon as it does, she snaps out of the love spell. And when he wakes up, they both wake up. She's like, get out of my house. What are you doing here? And he's like, you told me you loved me.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't do anything you didn't want to do. You told me you love me. And she was like, what did you do? How did you make this happen? I don't like you. I don't love you. And then she finds, he eventually tells her that it was a black magic, that he put her under a spell and that it worked. And she was like, wait a second. I like that other guy who doesn't want me, who's going to get married. So maybe I can use you to use the black magician to pay him a lot of money to help me out.
Yeah.
So he tells her where the guy is or gets them to hook up. And that the other guy that she's in love with or whatever, his name is Lulo. But it sounds like Sue or Chu, but it's Lieh. Lo.
Sounds right.
Weird. I don't know. Meanwhile, you find out that the dude who laid with her only got a love spell for like the one night because the black magic guy knew he was going to fuck him over. Because there's no way anybody could come up with that much fucking gold, clearly.
Yeah. He poor.
So he knew that this was all going to happen. So he knew that he was going to drink from the coconut and had the parasites in him. And then just let him die. He was like, go find some other magic person.
Yeah.
Go find another magician.
Bitch. And then he kills him.
Yeah, he just dies, like out in the middle of the forest. Because he does the voodoo needling on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kills him.
But I don't know how he fucking did that I don't know. Who knows?
Because he already had a spell on him because he drank the coconut juice.
Right.
So then he was like, bye, bitch.
Well, is it really magic if it's worms?
No, I don't know. I don't know how magic works.
Because technically...
Do I look like Harry Potter?
So Lulo, who's the guy who's about to get married, he gets married.
Did he? I thought he stood her up.
Oh, no. He almost stands her up because so Lo Yen goes to his house, puts a fucking weird ass looking penis looking thing, which is actually a finger because the magician. Remember, he's like, here's some teeth and some fucking...
a finger, and I was like, that's a dick.
It looks like a dick, dude. I was like, that's a huge-ass finger, dude.
Whose fucking finger is that? Like, Magic Johnson's? Like, whose fucking
Bigfoot?
finger?
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was so confused. I'm like, that's a straight-up dick. Like, that's when Mouse came home, actually, and he's like...
The fuck?
He's like, that's a finger?
She like pays the magician like $100K.
I think it's like dog teeth or something too.
No, he said it was human teeth.
No, I know, but the teeth
finger.
were big.
Oh, I don't know.
Looked like dog teeth.
Maybe.
And a dick.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a dog
teeth.
dick. Who fucking knows?
Oh my God. No,
yeah, it was gross. It wasn't a Red Rocket, so just.
Well, Lo, who is getting married, gets married during this time, but he wakes up sick because she stuck the teeth and the finger under his bed, which somehow makes him make him want to drink her drink because she's got to get him to drink this drink. And so he gets married, says I do, and he's like kind of in and out of it. And like his wife's like, what the fuck is going on? And they're like at the reception, and Lo Yen, the rich woman, comes up to him and is like, congratulations, I brought you a drink to celebrate. Don't you want to cheers with me? And he's like real hesitant at first, and then he just slowly drinks it. All of a sudden, he's like, everyone around him looks ugly. Like their faces get deformed, and like he's like freaked out by them, except for her. Her face is like beautiful or just normal. And so he like runs off with her, and they have sex at her house, and like even his wife and his brother, I think it was, come to the house, and they're like, yo, we need to speak to Lo. What up? But he like rejects his own wife and doesn't even recognize her when she comes to the front gate. So it's like Lo Yen at that point realizes that his wife might be problematic. So he asks the magician to help kill the woman, which apparently the magician is working his own magic on Lo Yen at this point, you find out, because he's sexually attracted to her. So he makes her have sex with him that night because she asks him to stay, right? Guys.
I was confusing all the characters, and I was like, what the fuck is happening?
So Lulo, who is the guy that was supposed to get married, who is married and just rejected his wife, stays the night, fucks her. She asks the black magic guy to stay the night because he puts a spell on her and then has sex with him the same night. And then she sees him as this like really handsome, like rich guy, and he knows that's how he'd get her into bed. I don't know. But his wife is under a death spell at this point because he puts a death spell on her, which makes fucking weird worms appear under her skin, which they had this kind of cool effect where they put this like clear plastic over the body and they had like worms. It's kind of cool.
It was kind of cool.
For 70s, like they didn't have like, advanced practical effects shit going on there. I was like,
huh.
At least they tried, I guess,
Yeah.
It's gross, though. I didn't like that. But they're all moving under her skin on her chest and then making her stomach gigantic. She looks like she's pregnant.
Yeah.
So they, like, rush her off to the fucking hospital. But they figure out that maybe she might be under a spell, and they take her to another white magic doctor, the same one who fought the black magic doctor in the beginning. Yeah. And he jams a large fucking bamboo needle into her back, like, all fucked up. Like, that was weird. I was like, oh, no.
Oh, ow.
And all these worms start spilling out of her back through the fucking needle.
Yeah.
And it's like, the family's all like asking the white doctor to help, and then mentions the husband. And he goes to the rich woman's house where Lulo is waking up, and he sort of breaks the spell and tries to leave the rich woman's house. But the dog attacks him, and this is like a really fucking weird scene, by the way.
It's really weird.
Because like he's like rolling around on the fucking ground. It looks like he's being extremely rough with the dog, but the dog is like trying to play. Like you could tell it's like playing.
Every time, like the dog has the longest tongue in the world. By the way, it was really weird. I was like,
German Shepherd or whatever.
Simmons, German Shepherd. This is weird. But the dog, like, they are trying to act like this is like a threatening ass dog. This dog is not fucking threatening whatsoever. He's just very happy and he's such a good boy.
I felt bad for the dog because
he's play, and then he gets roughed up downstairs, and I was like, be nice to that fucking dog on the fucking tile on the stairs.
It was like hard floor too.
Yeah, I was so pissed about that. But the dog got up and walked away. He was fine. And he literally just gets up and walks away. And
but he's wrestling with it pretty hard there. Like, I was like, what the fuck, dude?
I was like, okay.
But it didn't even look like he was attacking him, but they did their best, I guess.
The dog was just very confused. He's like, I just want to play. What the fuck?
At this point in time, he like tries to get out of the house, and the white magic doctor's out front playing the flute like a motherfucker. It's one of those snake charmer flutes. Yeah. Like, I can't even think of what it's called.
We'll go with that. Pan flute. That's not
it's a recorder. The ones you learn on in fucking school.
The little plastic ones.
Yeah. He's like playing fucking Titanic on it. But it basically causes the black magic doctor to start bleeding from the eyes, and then the black magic doctor flees with his skull. Like, I was like, what the fuck?
I know, he like waved that at people a couple of times, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, he carries this like obviously fake skull around.
Yeah, it's like a plastic Halloween prop.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
It's so bad. I was like, that is a spirit store fucking skull if I've ever seen one. Like,
I mean, it looked like it had some weight to it, but it definitely didn't look real. Mm-hmm. But Lulo wanders back to his old construction job. He's the guy that got married and rejected his wife, and then realized that he was under a spell and was released, and then back and forth and back and forth. But he goes back to his old job on the construction site, really confused, clearly under the spell still. And the black magic man is pissed. And fucking with his head, like, basically. So he wreaks havoc on the site. He makes him like tear apart the site and go crazy. And like the funny thing is like immediately the fucking police and the doctors show up within like minutes of him wrecking the site. Just like instantly. I'm like, what the fuck? I thought it was too quick, but so they rush him to the hospital. They do some fucking weird brain surgery on him, and he's like held up in this place for like 3 fucking months. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? So they make him eat some centipedes. Do you remember that? They make him when he's had
missed this part entirely. How did I miss this?
I don't know.
I just saw them fight at the fucking thing, and then like that was it.
No, yeah, after he gets like brain surgery on his head, and they put him in the hospital. His wife shows up, feeds him centipedes that she chops up in some sort of soup, and then he eats it while he's like under hospital care because he's out of it, and she just gives it to him, and then he says that it'll help him make him more rational. And as he's leaving, he drinks it's like 3 months into the future, like his hair's grown back. They had to shave his head and everything. His hair's grown back. He's actually pretty normal, and he's like eating a sandwich and like drinking some orange soda or something like that. And there's like a fucking gardener or something, and it's the black magic man. Oh my God. And he's been watching him the whole time, which the black magic doctor spikes his fucking orange soda with the love serum again so that Lo Yen falls in love with him again. Or he falls in love with Lo Yen, the rich woman, which makes him go back to Lo Yen, who tells him that they're going to go traveling around the world together so that they can get away from his wife and, you know, the white magic guy. But before they drive off with the black magic man, doctor asks him for his fee, and she pays him, but the white magic doctor shows up with his actual wife and his brother, I think, and they throw some pink shit at the fucking car as they're driving away. It's like just dust. He just throws dust. And like all of a sudden, like Load like snaps out of it again. He's not under the spell again. And it's like back and forth.
Yeah, it's so fucking, yeah.
But I thought it was really weird. I was like, what is he throwing that? I was like, what the fuck? So he snaps out of it. Lo Yen says, get him back. So she pays the fucking black magic guy again because he escapes once again. And then she's like, I'll give you anything you want. I'm like, Jesus fucking black magic convoluted fucking Christ.
Just find a new man, bitch.
Like, what is happening? And poor fucking Lulo, like fucking this dude's been under like love with like, he's been through the ringer, dude, with emotions. But this is when we get to the like big showdown. So he goes back to the construction site where he wreaked havoc before, the husband, and where they have the, you know, the big showdown of epic magic proportions fighting over him. It's black magic versus white magic in the most ridiculous way possible, really. This is not as cool as like Big Trouble in Little China style magic either, which was really creative. But the black magic doc has like a reflective skull shield that looks like a fucking metal glass, like a reflective glass, or I don't know. He wears it like it's fucking like a ring. It's like as big as his fist, like a buckler is what they call them.
Buckler.
Yeah, it's like a little shield that you can block.
Okay.
Sword hits on or something.
Fun.
Don't ask how I know, okay?
Like...
and then he's got like a weird orange laser shooting head. Do you remember? He's like holding this head.
Yeah.
And I think it's like the god that he's praying to.
I think so. Or whatever. I don't know. But that was very strange.
And they're fighting on these like I-beams up on the like
the way top of like this
construction site.
Building.
Yeah. Which is pretty cool. What did you think about that part, though?
So fucking stupid. But it was also hilarious at the same time. Like, I was just like, I don't understand, but I can't look away. It's so hilariously bad.
He uses the reflective shield, too, to, like, burn the head of the white magic doctor. And then the white magic doctor, like, has this light appear around him, I think, and then, like, envelop the sky's like turning black and like all this crazy shit's going on. The white magic doc points a dagger at him and Lo Yen, because he tries to hide behind Lo Yen, the rich woman, so that he won't die again, like he did in the beginning of the movie. And she just turns old as fuck with black teeth, like the old woman in the beginning. She actually melts, her face melts when she hits the ground, and then the black magic dude just falls and dies, I guess. And then Lilo spits out the curse, which is all those red worms. Mm-hmm. And that's it, folks. Literally like that.
Movie's over. Everyone's safe.
Yeah, he spits out the worms. They walk like 5 steps, and then it's just like credits, and the credits are like literally like not even 10 seconds long. It's like pink.
Over.
Yeah. I don't know, but that's pretty much it. I mean, that's not even the best part. The next movie that we're going to be talking about is where it gets really fucking batshit fucking crazy, dude. You're going to want to stick around for this, so I hope you guys do. Even if you've seen it or if you haven't seen it, I think it'll be fine when you watch the movie. There's just so much that goes on. It's almost impossible to remember everything that goes on in it. But I did the work on the second movie. Black Magic 2 came out in 1976. It was actually also called Revenge of the Zombies, but the original title in China was Gu Huan Yang 2, which means 2, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Sounds right.
But the story is an evil magician and his zombie minions are up against a trio of doctors who are on a mission to find the cause of an outbreak of unknown diseases caused by his spells. Curious. It is directed, of course, by Menghua Ho, as I also mentioned, was also named Horace Menghua. Lady of Steel is one of his movies. He also did Killer Darts, The Kiss of Death, The Flying Guillotine, The Oily Maniac, The Mighty Peking Man. You guys might have heard of those movies. Those are some of the popular ones, I think, in the genre. It was also written by Quang Ni, like Brittany mentioned, who's written literally like 232 fucking movies or shows. Woo. He did like the 36th Chamber of Shaolin, The Cat, The Mighty Peking Man, Spirit of the Raped, The Web of Death, The First Black Magic, of course, and a fuck ton more. I was looking through the catalog and I was like, holy crap, this guy had like 10 movies in 1 year.
Holy crap.
That he wrote.
Yeah.
And then it was like 10 or 15 for the next year. And I was like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, where the fuck does he have the time to write all this shit?
Yeah, it's a lot.
I feel like they just had him chained up and they were like, right. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
fuck.
God damn it.
Like, how much passion does one man have, or woman?
Clearly. A whole lot.
Right? Like, holy fuck. Some of the cast in this, I'm just going to kind of go over some of the actors and some of the movies. The actors that return to this movie because they have the same actors. 3 of the same actors return, and I'll just go over those ones. You got Long Ti, who goes by Zong Ping in the movie. He's one of the doctors that is trying to convince the other doctor that about spells and shit like that. He was in Drunken Master 2, A Better Tomorrow 1 and 2, The Warrior's Wade, Jade Tiger, Legend of the Bat, and many more. It also stars Lulo, we were talking about in the first one, I guess, which is really confusing because that's the name of the character in the first movie, but... He goes by Kang Kong in this movie.
Yeah.
But it's a different guy. The shisty guy that tried to trick the black magic guy is this character, and he plays the villain in this movie. He plays the black magician called Kang Kong. He had the mustache in the first one.
Okay.
So the one that died.
Yeah.
But he was in Five Fingers of Death, The 36th Chamber of Shaolin, Executioners in Shaolin, The Vampire Combat, Mr. Canton, and The Lady Rose. Human Lanterns, and about 200 plus more. Also Lily Lee, which Brittany mentioned, who plays Kui Ling. She was in the movies The Young Master, The Web of Death, Disciples of the 36th Chamber, Curse of Evil, which we watched, Jade Tiger, The Oily Maniac, The Heroic Ones, and many more. There are a lot of other people too, by the way, guys, but I'm not going to go through them all. So suck a dick.
Suck a dick.
So this movie was released in Hong Kong in 1976, and the United States didn't pick it up until 82.
See?
So it was like 3 years after the first one came out in America, so it took even further.
Yeah, it took even longer.
Yeah, so what did you think of this one compared to the other one?
I like this one a whole lot more than the first one.
Okay.
Which I don't really know why I like this one more. I think it was just a little bit more entertaining.
Right.
Which is interesting because this one's not dubbed.
Right.
So, and that was part of the fun in the first movie is the stupid dubbing. But so this one's not, and I don't know. There's so many like different things about this that are so ridiculous and over the top that it's just like this is entertaining as shit.
Right.
We get three of the same characters back, right?
Yeah, it's just like 3 of them from the first movie.
So this one definitely goes a little bit more on the line of horror for me. Just it has more like horror elements to it, I think, than the first one did.
Okay.
It's a fun story. The story's fucking bonkers as shit, but I liked it. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, what else did you like about it?
I think of what else.
I was gonna say, like, I hope you have more.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like the acting was a little bit easier to judge on this because it's not dubbed over terribly.
Okay.
So the acting was okay. The storyline's pretty cool and interesting.
What'd you think about the weird factor in this one?
It's definitely weird. Like
More weird than the first one?
I feel like I don't know.
I definitely do.
Like, I think there's parts of it that are definitely more weird. So I think I'm trying to like compare the two in my head quickly to determine which one's actually more weird. This one for sure.
Yeah, well, this is batshit compared to the other one.
Yeah, the first one's a little bit more tame, especially the first half of it.
Okay.
In comparison to this movie, that's pretty much just crazy right off the bat. So we get titty milk again. Yeah. That's cool. Titty milk's just a recurring theme in Asian horror films, I guess. Yeah.
Did you like any of the gore? Like, what else did you like about it?
I don't know. Like, it didn't feel like it was very much gore specifically.
Really?
In this. I don't know. Like, I don't really remember anything specific as far as like.
There was so much that happened in this movie.
Yeah, there was a lot. This is another one too that's just like there's so many layers to it and layers to the story, and then it gets kind of convoluted and confusing at the same time because it's just like a lot of back and forth, and you're like, who the fuck are these people? And it's like the same fucking characters over and over again, but you're like, what is going on in this?
Well, it's not
story?
the same characters. It's
almost like
it's the same actors, just different characters.
Yeah, and they're like, I don't know,
which
like,
makes it really confusing.
Yeah, so that's why you feel like it's the second part, so you think you're getting the same people back, and it's not. It's all different. They're playing different people entirely.
Right. Yeah, because Lulo is now or Fong Ping.
Yeah.
Or whatever the fuck. And then the other guy is Peng Shen.
And then one has a normal, like, American name.
Right. And then you got Kang Kong.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
And
It's
then, like,
threw me
or whatever the fuck her name is.
Margaret.
Margaret.
Yeah. There's
Like,
Margaret and then the other woman, Kui Ling.
Yeah, Kui Ling and Margaret. There's one normal name in this, like, and the rest are all just
which
like,
is so weird, right? Like,
what
she's
is
just
happening here? I got lost, like entirely lost in this one.
I definitely think that it is more convoluted and it's all over the fucking place because things just really happen very rapid fire.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I felt like I followed it along pretty well, like as much as the first.
They're basically trying to like trick the black magician, essentially. Like, once they're on to him and the whole thing of like they figure out that the person, like Kui Ling or whatever, is like under a spell. Or no, it's Margaret. Yeah. Whoever, it's one of the girls.
There's a lot of people that go under spells in
this
one.
Everybody gets under a spell, and then they're all trying to like trick the black magic guy because he's the one. He's doing this to like turn them into like sex dolls or some shit, right? Essentially, like
he's having minions. They say that it's sex slaves, but
they're not really.
I never really got
though.
it from that. He just like drinks titty milk to stay young.
Yeah,
and I don't really consider. Well, I mean, they become sex slaves.
I don't know. Like, I didn't.
But it's not every single woman.
Yeah,
it's just like select ones.
So he's just up to no good.
Yeah.
Basically, like he's making his own little army of fucking zombies.
It's a little confusing,
I guess.
Yeah.
Like zombie sex slave, maybe just titty milk slaves. I don't really know what's going on with that, but it's cool how he does it, like how he controls people.
Right.
Like, it was interesting. So I don't know.
What do you think about like some of the?
It was I liked the story. Like, it was weird as fuck, but like also completely fucking different from anything else. Like, that's one of the things that they can accomplish with these movies is they just go off the fucking wall and they're like, how weird can we make this? Cool, let's do that times 10. I'm like, okay. Like, well, sounds good.
Well,
throw some dog teeth and a penis in a fucking thing and say it's human teeth and a finger and we're fine. I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
This one to me felt like a Shaw Brothers film, like it should be, and one that you would expect even if they confuse the shit out of you.
You're like more true to what they do.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I mean, at least in the other ones in their bracket or their category of horror, it is really confusing though that they use the same three of the same actors from the first movie, but then make them different characters in this, which made no sense to me. I was like, this is not an American Horror Story. You're not doing, you know what I mean?
Doesn't work like that.
And maybe it's just lost in translation a little bit because but they are different characters 100% in different roles. I was really confused in the beginning. It took me like 20, 30 minutes to kind of like get that I had to go back and rewatch certain scenes.
I didn't realize that they were different people.
Yeah. They're like doctors. And I was like,
why are they suddenly doctors? Like,
right.
Has that much time passed? I don't understand what's happening.
Like, are they back because they're specialists in black magic now and they know what magic is like? So they're asking them to come out to solve the mystery of this town getting infected with black magic or whatever.
They fucking Scooby-Dooed it.
But they're not. They're just doctors trying to validate any of the fucking claims of black magic and try to science the fuck out of it, I guess. But, regardless, this one definitely goes for the, throw everything, including the kitchen sink, weird at you more than the first, in my opinion. I mean, it's batshit to me. Like, I definitely enjoyed this one over the other. Although I will say the first one is probably the more straightforward story.
Yeah.
A little bit more.
For it being also confusing as shit, the first one's easier to follow.
Yeah, and this one jumps around a lot, and if you look away literally for even like a minute, you're gonna miss something. So like there is so much dialogue. You get more magic, more gore, more breasts, more weird. It's pretty much all there. A sort of continuation of the first movie, but there really is only one character that continues the sequel, which is the white magic doctor guy.
Different person.
Yeah, which he's like. You know it's him because he's got the same burn mark on his head, scar from the fight that he had with the black magic guy.
Yeah.
From the first movie.
But it's like very clearly a different person.
Yeah, like it is totally like
it's totally different person.
The other guy, it's like I don't know if they're trying to say that like because in the first movie, the white magic guy is like this clean cut, fucking well put together guy. In the second movie, he's got like wild Albert Einstein hair or some shit like that. And I'm like, what the fuck? It's like Bernie Sanders is a magician or something like that. But anyway, He looks old as fuck, but he still has a magic war wound on his head, like I mentioned. But other than that, nobody else is like a character that continues over. You don't need to watch the first to understand this one either, so it's not really connected at all, really. So if you just want to check this one out, you can. This one sort of, changes the rules of love potions from the first movie too, and death curses a little bit, which was a little surprising. They definitely perform a lot more rituals in this one as well. A little bit more repetitive, I think. Ones that include zombies doing the bidding of the dark magic, or the dark black magic shiesty lord. He's a bit of a greedy D-bag pretty much in this movie. But there's a lot of what the fuck happening moments in this one because they come a little too quick at times, like I was mentioning about the rapid fire shit.
Yeah.
Like in the very beginning, like it's just rapid fire shit going on. And then, I mean, I wouldn't say as rapid as like Boxer's Omen, which is just like, like the scenes in Boxer's Omen just never end.
Yeah.
This is the scene that never ends. It just goes on, my friend, and literally morphs physically in front of you. Mm-hmm. This one just jumps all over the place, but it's still kind of rapid fire. I guess if you're kind of into black magic again with this, some of the tropes at least, like silly gore moments, melting faces, nails being drilled into people's heads with a hammer, breast milk drinking maybe. I mean, you might like this. In a story that kind of flips around a lot, you might want to watch this. I think it's got more of what people will look forward to in a Shaw Brothers film than the first one. So, whether it makes sense or not at all, fans of the I'm looking for weird shit are going to appreciate this. So it should satiate their appetites. Although the middle of the movie gets a little slow. I don't know if it was for you.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The first and last act really punch you right in the pudding. So it has
in your rice pussy.
I don't know about that,
right in the pussy rice.
But it does have a fast start and end. So yeah, I mean, especially the end. Don't get me wrong. The first 2 minutes of the film gets, the fucking party started with some silly fun. I'll mention that in the spoilers, which you guys are definitely going to want to stick around for. I personally would give this one a 6. When you compare it against the catalog of other Shaw Brothers films, not as a whole. Like, I mean, typically these movies aren't like great.
Yeah.
But if you compare it to other Shaw Brothers horror movies, then I think it's definitely a 6. And I definitely pick it up at some point because I just like weird shit like this. There have been some fans of this sort of subgenre that didn't like it, but I'm cool with it. And if you guys are into the weird shit that we talk about, you might be too. And like we mentioned before, they're both on Amazon Prime. So if you have Amazon Video and you pay for the subscription or whatever, they have that. They have Oily Maniac. They have Human Lanterns. So if you guys want to go down the rabbit hole with those fucking weird movies, you can. But yeah, that's what I think of it. And now you guys are going to... I do have a little bit of trivia for this. It's really not that... There's nothing really spoilery in it. But we will go into describing the movie next after that. So get prepared for earmuffs, I guess. I don't know if you're into that.
Get prepared.
Yeah, I guess. Well, because like some people don't care, some people do.
Yeah.
But there is a sequel for this movie, apparently. So there is a third one in the series that came in 1981.
Really?
Yeah. It's called The Queen of Black Magic. It's a different director and a different story, but here's the synopsis. Mm-hmm. It says, a woman is seduced by and cast aside by a fickle lover. When the lover marries another woman who starts hallucinating during their wedding, she is accused of being a witch and thrown to her death over a cliff. A strange man rescues her, nurses her back to health, and is told that she must master black magic in order to exact vengeance on her tormentors. She casts a variety of spells over the populace, with the male population as her favorite target, and becomes the queen of black magic. But who exactly is the man, and does he have other plans? So this is a current movie.
She the man. She the man.
Right? But that's pretty much it for trivia, guys. I mean, there really isn't anything on it. I looked pretty hard today. I went through other people's reviews to see if they could kind of give me some breadcrumbs to other things that I might be able to look up. I was going to kind of do like a thing on the directors and shit, but I thought that might be too long. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our spoilers and kind of give you guys a breakdown of the whole movie and through the lens of BTV. So we'll go ahead and start that right now. So if you don't want to listen to spoilers, back out. Come back later after you watch it on Amazon Prime. All right, Brittany. So, do you remember the very first scene of the movie?
Yeah, the crocodile attack.
Yeah.
Alligator attack.
I think it's a crocodile.
Whatever. I was so confused. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how is this? How does any of this make any sense?
Well, it
Why
makes
is
sense
relate?
because they're reintroducing the white magic doctor from the first movie.
Okay. But what did he even do?
Well, there's like, I think it starts off.
Beats up the alligator and then kills it and cuts its stomach open and then like.
Well, there's a bunch of women, nude women, who are in a river splashing each other, being all silly, and you see like a really fake crocodile floating in the distance, and it like has like really green eyes for some reason.
Yeah, it was weird.
Like unnatural. So I was like, okay, which is weird because fast forward to when they're like cutting it open, it actually is a real crocodile.
I was gonna say it looked real as fuck.
Yeah, that was a real crocodile. Anyway, the white magic guy from the first movie, so the crocodile comes over and eats one of the nude women. And you see just like blood come up, and he's just like, God damn it, stupid crocodile. Like he just shakes his head. Job. So then he sets up like a trap where he's got this huge fucking fishing rod or like huge bamboo pole. Like we're talking like huge, like a light pole. And he's got like a large rope on it with a hook and a chicken dangling over the water waiting to catch a crocodile. And there's like 3 of them in the water, by the way. So he only catches one, and it happens to be the one that already ate. That doesn't make sense. Anyway, so...
They hungry.
So the white magic guy catches one. It grabs onto the fucking thing, gets it. He pulls it up on the fucking deck. He does like a little praying before he catches it too on the dock, and he quickly flips it over. And this is like a legit crocodile, a dead one, but a crocodile nonetheless. And he flips it over, stabs a knife into his chest, and I'm thinking like, is he gonna pull the like chick out?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I really thought maybe he was going to... I was like, he's stabbing that in pretty deep to...
Yeah, pull a person out.
Right. So then he, like, starts pulling... He pulls out, like, a flip-flop, like a fucking...
Yeah, some of the shit that comes out of there, I was like...
A can, like a fucking tin can, he throws it out, and he finds, like, a foot and a hand, and then...
Bone, yeah.
Oh, bone, that's right. And then it's, like, an anklet. And then he hands it to the friends, and then just is like, my job is done here.
And leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so fucking confused. It's like, why?
And that's when the title screen is just like instantly, it's like, Black Magic 2. It's like, well, wait, what?
Hold on.
Where's the magic? That was just a crocodile.
He just killed a crocodile and then like gave a bracelet.
Oh, he stabbed it in the head first. That's right. When he pulls it up on the fucking thing, he's like, stabs it in the head. It's really fake. They just pour fake blood on it. And then they like, and on a dead crocodile, by the way, and then they flip it over.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was like, my emotions were very confused in those moments. I was like, oh, okay, it's fake. Oh my God, it's real now. Why? I was like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, they just like carved up a like.
So they like legit just pulled a flip flop out of that crocodile, like, or did they
They probably stuffed it in there. Yeah,
because the blood looked. That's why I was confused too, because the blood looks fake.
Right. I don't know why they needed the anklet or whatever the fuck it was.
Dude, they don't explain shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, why did you do that?
I guess it's just to show that he's like kind of a badass.
Let the alligator crocodile live in peace and eat more naked women. Like that's clearly what he enjoys doing.
Maybe you shouldn't be in the fucking river like that, nude.
You're stupid.
With horny alligators or crocodiles in the water.
They're fucking hungry and they like titties. Like, what are they supposed to do?
So
they just wanted some titty milk.
So Lulo, the guy from the first movie, or rather his name is Zong Ping, is this doctor guy. So I was like, this is the part where I was like really confused. It's like him, his girlfriend or wife, I think, and are kind of back, but completely different characters, as I mentioned, and they're doctors, and they're to help find out about this curse that's happening in this town, and their friend Zhang Shen is trying to convince them that this shit's real. which Zong Ping makes fun of him for suggesting that there is such a thing as magic.
Yeah.
Because he's like a doctor through and through. Like
doctor of medicine.
Right.
Blah.
Well, they're like biologists too, because it's kind of weird.
They're apparently every type of doctor possible.
Yeah. They probably just didn't know what doctors did.
They know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, I doctor all the doctor things.
Apparently, they're there to research a disease he thinks is a curse, Zhang Shen. So, hopefully I can explain this guy to you guys well enough, by the way. So please lock in if you can.
Good luck, bro.
Just try to hang on. I tried to spice it up with some funny shit in here. So the next scene is basically of the guy who wanted to put a spell on Lo Yen in the first Black Magic, but he is now Kang Kong, which confuses me even further. He's like at some fucking club and he's watching some girl dance, and we aren't even sure why he's alive. I'm like so confused at this point, but it's actually just a new Black Magic doctor played by the same guy, obviously. But
yeah.
So like some guy is like trying to go on this date with this dancer girl, and then the Black Magic guy gets the girl to ditch the guy and go with him, and they go back to his house and back to his lair where he like moves this bookshelf aside, goes down in the basement, and then tilts her head forward after he undresses her and pulls out a fucking gigantic 9-inch nail out of the top of her skull, which makes her turn old and die.
Yeah, she turns old and then she just like melts.
Right.
Some shit. But then she's like whole again later as an old person.
Yeah, it's really confusing. He like lays her down on like this. He's got like all these slabs, which are like doctor's beds, but they're not. They're just like concrete slabs.
Yeah, concrete slabs.
Yeah, like some ancient fucking ritual.
Reminds me of like tombs from like Egyptian tombs.
And there's like, it's really confusing. Meanwhile, back with the actors from the first film, the new doctors and his friend at his house, that Zhang Shen shows them a female patient with these like 2 pulsating tumors that are on her neck. Mm-hmm. Did you see that?
Yeah.
And he's like, they look like faces.
No, they don't.
I was like, yeah, they really don't.
Not at all, dude.
It was cool that they were pulsating.
Yeah, I was like, that's a fun little bladder effect.
Yeah, it's totally what it is. Yeah, he calls it the poisonous green curse.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I don't know what it is.
Like, don't ever touch back on really and elaborate
at all. They're trying to make it seem like there's this infection in the town.
They don't complete the story.
Yeah, it is a little confusing.
I don't understand what the purpose of any of that was, because they don't ever like address it.
No.
Again. Or finish, or like, it's solved. We solved the problem, but then you didn't, because it's not even the same situation, but okay. Right.
So the douchey guy, after that, the guy who's now the new Black Magic villain in this movie, is meeting another woman, and the friends, it's the wife of Zhang Shen, who is the doctor trying to convince these other doctors that magic is real. And he's outside of their house talking to his wife, whose name is Margaret, and he hands her like some flowers, and he hands her the flowers. It's like, these are for you. And then he yanks the flowers down so that the thorn cuts her. And he's like, oh, let me take my handkerchief and wipe your blood. He's like, he's like, I got some stuff you could put on it. You're going to want to wrap that in gauze. I'm so sorry. So that's his like sneaky way of getting her blood.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's super creepy, by the way.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like uber creep.
So I'm still confused at this point, because I didn't really understand that he was Kang Kong, this new character. I'm like, so wait, did the first guy not really die and he's back in this movie? And like I said, there's a language barrier, so I had to like read these, and they were different names. So I was like, okay, so I got this wrong. I literally went back and watched the first 15-20 minutes of the movie again, like 3 times, because I was so confused.
Yeah.
Anyway, he hangs, after he cuts her finger on a thorn and then wipes the blood off, he then hangs a dead cat from her tree. And I'm like, what? So he takes her blood on a cloth, dilutes it in water, and then prays to some shrine back at his fucking cool ass fucking ancient pad in the basement.
His house is dope.
He's got that secret shelf, and he's got,
sweet.
Yeah, so he goes back to some shrine, makes some fucking like worshiping stuff, and then he like spits. He makes these wax figures that he has like a whole collection of wax
same
figures.
exact type of wax figures from the first movie.
And I'm assuming that these all of these wax figures are of everybody that's died or is infected with his curse or whatever the fuck. It doesn't make much sense. But he makes another wax figure of this girl, Margaret, and she's eating dinner with the doctors, and they're talking about whatever, and she starts acting weird, and she's like, "Oh, I don't feel good. I'm gonna go to bed." So she goes up there, and he's like, "It's the curse." Zhang Shen is like, "Oh, it's the curse."
She has hysteria.
It's so funny, though. This part really made me laugh because, so Zhang Shen is the new friend who's trying to convince Zhang Ping and his wife or this other doctor lady that curses are real. And his first step, he's like, "Look, I've got a book on the whole fucking thing. It's written by this an American researcher or doctor who did 10 years of research on spells." So it says right here, he's like, "Look at this book." He's like, they talk about how the one black magic guy can make zombies and that he drinks breast milk every day to stay young. And this is the funny part, dude. Like when they open the book, they show a picture of this black magic guy in front of a titty, like yelling at it almost, like to show that he's drinking fresh milk. But he doesn't actually have his mouth on it. It's just this really awkward picture of him like going, "Ha!"
Yelling at a titty. He's yelling at a lactating titty.
So yeah, if you guys are into yelling at titties, this is the movie for you.
You're going to get your fix, man. Yelling at titty porn.
Dude.
Perfect.
I'm like thinking to myself, like, somebody had to actually take these pictures back in the 70s. You know what I mean? They had to hire some dude to take a picture. And this is pretty Jesus. Kind of pornographic, if you would think, back in the 70s, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
And then not only that, somebody actually had to make the book that they use because they're flipping through pages of this weird shit. So I'm thinking about that for a second. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know. It's just funny to me.
You want some yelling at titty porn?
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine.
So that's his proof, by the way, because he's like, hey, I read a book on it. Fucking magic's real, bro.
It's great.
So Margaret, who went to bed early, is woken up by the black magic guy, Kang Kong. He's doing a ritual, making her walk to his pad, his ritual pad. And he tells her that she will be providing him milk for his life elixir, but he will need her hair first to make her produce milk. And he lays her on a table and shaves her vagina, by the way, for the hair. Which he burns and then mixes it with some weird green drink and makes her drink it.
Yep.
I'm a little confused, but whatever.
She lactates.
Later on, she does.
Titty milk.
She wakes up a bit later after, and he's like chanting at a window or some dumb shit. I was like, what is he doing? Is he like reflecting on his black magic?
I think so.
Like what? He's like
dear diarying his window.
But he's like going, like I'm not even. There's no
exactly what it is.
There's no audible words. It's just like it's just
random
chanting.
Sounds. Yeah.
Sorry if that annoys you guys. Sorry.
Just don't do it again.
She's all smiling too when she enters the room. Because she like wakes up from the cold slab and she's like, "Hi, yay." He disrobes her. And then, of course, yep, you guessed it, sucks on her squirting breasts. They have sex. Neat. And it's not even really interesting sex either. It's like clearly fake.
It was weird.
Like you could tell it was fake. Like it wasn't even
sweaty movements.
It was like a 10-second little fucking thing. At least they had the good taste not to. I guess. I don't know. Seeing a dude sucking a woman's breast and stare at it like it's some fucking.
It's weird.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
Please go back to yelling at it.
Yeah. But back at the doctor lab, they test the infected blood of some of those people with the weird tumors on them. And they find those red worms that we saw in the coconut from the first film. But they all decide that, after figuring all that out, that they've been working so long, they got to go to bed. And Zhang Shen realizes that his wife's missing, and they find her outside acting all weird. She was out, obviously, at what's his name's fucking him and squirting milk in his mouth. She was like, it's hot inside. I had to come outside.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, that's weird. And they go back inside, go to bed. The next morning, Zheng Shen sees that his wife is visibly pregnant. Like, her stomach is like...
She's like 9 months pregnant.
Yeah, she at least, maybe 7.
Yeah, her ass is pregnant as fuck.
Yeah. So they take her to the hospital and immediately just cut open her belly. Like, no scans, no nothing. I don't know if they had those back then, but...
Who knows?
So they operate on her and cut out a deformed, like, baby thing. And they just put it on a...
They're like, it's deformed.
Yeah, they were like, oh no, it's deformed.
And then, like, that's it.
But they don't even say what they do with the baby.
Yeah, that's it. They leave it after that point. Like, it's, oh, you had a deformed baby. Why are you pregnant? No one knows.
They don't explain
your
it.
baby's deformed, and that's it. And then they move on from that subject. And I'm like, oh, kidoki.
Because I guess it, like, speeds up her metabolism, and she's able to get pregnant really quick by the black magic.
Who fucking knows?
It is really weird. But later, the guy who got ditched by the dancing girl, do you remember I was mentioning that? That he pulled the nail out of her head? He goes back to Kang Kong to help him make her fall in love with him again, not knowing that she's in the basement dead as fuck as a zombie and had a nail in the top of her head. So Kong uses his ring to make him, he like uses his ring like some sort of like magic thing, and he points it at him because he's like, you need to show me that magic's real. And he's like, okay, I can do that. And he just makes him sweat, wipes his sweat on his brow. And as he's like going into convulsions, somehow Kong fucking like makes his fucking handkerchief float over to him, pockets it, and gives him another one. And that now he has that handkerchief with his sweat to be able to use magic against him if this dude doesn't pay up, which is really weird. So he pays the guy all this extra, like 10 grand. What was it, like 5 grand or 10 grand US?
Yeah, it was 5 grand the first time, and then the next time it was 10 grand.
Right, okay.
Or, yeah.
So he pays the guy, and you see her laying dead on a table, and she's like, he sticks the nail in her head again with a spike and taps it in with a hammer, and she's sent on her way to meet the guy who paid the good money to have her back, which the guy takes her to a hotel to have sex, and one of the hotel clerks like knows that they're gonna go fuck. Do you remember this?
Yeah, that was weird.
And he follows them to an adjacent like
room to watch.
Yeah, to watch. And he sees the girl slowly turn into an old woman because the guy was wearing something around his neck. Some weird
amulet, yeah.
I didn't know what it was.
It was some amulet thing. I don't remember the purpose of it, but it
wasn't significant. They didn't really even say what it was.
Yeah, but it like reverses the spell or whatever.
Right, it starts burning her skin. I guess
it burns her, yeah, and turns her old.
Yeah, and while he's like having sex with this girl, she like turns old, and he's like, ew, what the fuck? He's like, what the fuck? But I thought it was weird. The other guy's like watching him, and he's like, oh my God, and he passes out. Just falls on the floor. I don't know. I don't know. His name was Mr. Zhang, by the way. The guy that paid money to have her back. The one that was fucking the old woman, basically. Mm-hmm. But he freaks out, demanding a refund to the black magic guy, or he's going to expose Kong to the police, which Kong says, nah, brah, it's cool. I got your sweat from your handkerchief, dildo. I'll magic kill a bitch if you pull that shit.
Yeah. Fuck you right up.
Right? So Mr. Zhang walks off, you know, but soon after falls ill, literally, like as he walks out, losing his hair, his fingernails. And
that part was pretty cool.
That was kind of cool,
pulling
yeah.
The nails off. Like you could clearly see his actual fingernails, like still underneath the fake nails he pulled off, but
yes, like, well, especially in 1080p,
very clearly. But it was still a cool part, and the shit like that always makes me like.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to tell if it was like old film, but yeah. I was thinking the same thing when I was watching it. I was like, oh God, Brittany's like with me on this part.
Yeah,
but I was like, yeah, that's clearly not.
Yeah,
it's just fake nails on top.
Right there.
So, but the funny thing is that he's dying in the street right next to who? The doctors who are researching the curse. So, and then like right in front of them, his face melts off. Like this guy's face just melts the fuck off and he dies on the street. And like, as of course Kong is voodoo dolling him, at the same time. But upside, you think, oh, well, Zhang Ping and Zhang Shen are on board now together about, like magic, of course, right now, right? And he's like, nope. So Zhang Shen is like, see, it says he died of a suspected magic spells in the paper, bro. He shows him the paper to be like, see, it's magic, bro. So Zhang Ping is like, nah, bro. Nah, we got to test this shit out. So they discuss doing some sort of autopsy to kind of learn the secrets of the magic because he doesn't believe it's magic. But apparently Mr. Kang's family isn't cool with doing autopsies because they're like old school or something, he says. And they wouldn't allow it to happen. So they decide digging him up and testing him is the best course of action.
Yeah.
Because, nothing like a little grave robbing between doctors to solve the problem,
Yeah.
Like,
Felonies solve everything.
Like, what fucking doctor in their right mind is going to go out to a fucking grave and dig somebody up? I don't know. I just thought that was funny. You got to be pretty desperate and really believe it to dig some fucking dude up.
Yeah. He's got to prove it's magic.
So they dig him up and find out that he's decomposed faster than any normal human would have by this time. And of course, blame it on the soil because, soil. Which Zhang Shen's like, y'all motherfuckers are fucking goddamn stubborn bitches. So the lady friend says, shit, I got an idea. Why don't we just have him put a spell on me and test me? And Zhang Shen's like, aren't you scared of fucking magic, bitch? Like, what the fuck? She's like, no, why would I be? And I'm thinking to myself, well, shit, even if it's not real and it's just some infection, do you really want to have worms teeming throughout your body?
Yeah, gross.
Like, what the fuck, dude?
No.
And your face melt off? I mean, that is kind of a high risk. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Even if it's not magic, like, what the fuck are you thinking?
I mean, I wouldn't volunteer for that.
I don't know. The shit may not be curable. Clearly, if your face melts off and you die. So, I mean.
That would definitely not be curable.
She was all excited about it, too. Like, she's all smiling. Like,
just me, it's fine.
This is so exciting. Like, oh, yeah, I can't wait to die.
Woo! So excited. So
they agree on making some sort of appointment with Kong, the black magician dildo. And the plan's in motion. Zhang Shen pretends to be a client to make Zhang Ping's wife, Kui Ling, fall for him. And for 10 grand, he agrees. He writes a check, and Kong tries to get him to drink a drink, which he pours into a plant. But as he's pouring it into the plant, Kong looks into the mirror and sees him pour it into the plant.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck is this guy up to? Like,
show you bitch.
Right. And so he picks up his Siamese cat and he's like petting it all like fucking Dr.
Evil.
Dr. Evil, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like petting it all fucking serious and then he like throws it on Zhang Shen. Yeah, to like scratch his arm and get like his blood under him. But he knows something's up. So I guess, to say, hey, we got your blood, you pull some shit, I'll fucking use it against you. So Kong also gets her to bleed on some glass. I guess she drops something on the floor at a store, and then he gets her blood.
Yeah, because he's like stalking her in the store and then runs into her. And then she drops a jar, I don't know, of pickles or some shit. And then she goes to, like a fucking moron, goes to pick it up. He crushes her hands into it, yeah. And then collects it on a handkerchief, her blood on a handkerchief, like he did with the lady with the rose prick.
Pulling the old bleed on the handkerchief.
Those are certainly words.
Yeah, handkerchief trick. Sure enough, when Kong is doing the blood ritual, though, to make her fall in love with Zhang Shen, he makes 2 voodoo dolls this time and makes both of them fall in love with each other instead, which they leave in the same house to fuck each other.
Yeah.
And in another hotel room or something. And Zhang Ping is like, don't you fuck my wife? And he slaps the shit out of Zhang Shen, which kind of brings him to his senses. Like, and Margaret, is it Margaret? Oh, no. It's
Kui Ling.
Kui Ling, yeah. So Kui Ling's all like fighting him. What?
Margaret's like sick, right?
Yeah, she's in a hospital or something like that. Yeah. So for whatever reason, Zhang Shen kind of snaps out of it after that slap. and then goes running to find his wife, Margaret, who's been sick after the surgery, and he goes to check on her, but she's like off feeding Kong some titty milk. Again. And she doesn't even have a scar, I don't think. I don't know.
Who knows?
But she sort of snaps out of it at that point, too, and runs out of Kong's mansion, like, panicked. And Zhang Shen is running to his mansion to find her because he knows that she's there. And they run into each other out in the front yard and die. Because he's not happy about fucking...
He drops them into boiling water.
Yeah, he drops the wax figures.
Dolls, yeah, so they die.
Yeah.
And then he collects them and keeps them and puts nails in their head.
Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, he does do that. And then dunks Kui Ling's wax figure in blood of, I don't know who it is, but it's just blood, which apparently makes her want to kill her husband, Zong Ping. And she bites him and attacks him. But who's that? Is it Gandalf? Is it Colonel Sanders?
Both.
Albert Einstein?
Is it Bernie? All of the above.
Nope, it's the White Magic Man from Part 1 and the Alligator Wrestler.
He's back.
He's back.
It's Crocodile Dundee.
And not only that, he's got a fucking dead white cat that he just starts beating the shit out of fucking Kui Ling with.
So weird.
I was laughing my ass off.
I know. I was like, what the fuck?
I was like, I guess because like it's a white cat, it's a reverse magic
fucking
thing.
knows?
I don't fucking know.
He's beating her pussy with a pussy.
Oh my God, I don't know if it was like sexual like that.
I don't think it was, but I don't know.
She eventually submits to his cat fucking flingery.
Cat flingery.
Cat beatery.
I like cat flingery.
But she like submits and then he cuts her back open with a dagger.
Like real deep like too.
Yeah,
it's
like
it's pretty intense.
And it like starts spilling all this like weird like clear green water and worms out of her back.
Yeah.
And then he starts sucking and spitting out the worms from his mouth.
It's disgusting.
I was like, what the fuck is going on? I guess he's trying to spit out the poison, you know.
He's trying to get the black magic out of her.
Right. So Kong at this point, you know, the Black Magic Man isn't too thrilled about this shit happening. And of course shoves a 9-inch nail into one cheek for some reason. And it goes through his mouth and out the other side. Mm-hmm. Then he sticks 2 of them into both of his hands.
Crucifixion style.
Yeah, like Ashton Kutcher in the fucking Butterfly Effect where he's in the science class. And he's like, oh, Mrs. King. Bam! And slams his hand on it to wake up.
I love that movie.
Yeah, that was fucking crazy. I love that movie too.
Such a good movie.
I don't know. I guess to try to counter the magic somehow, it's like pressure points or something. I don't know. It's really weird. But ultimately, it kills Albert Einstein. The White Magic Man. Bernie goes down. No!
Oh no, you scared Murray. Murray's like, I've had it with the shit.
But the funny thing is, as the White Magic Man is dying, like he talks to Fong Ping.
Sure.
And he's like, rips his own eyes out. Like the White Magic Man sticks his hand into his eyes, pulls out his eyes, and is like, here, take these wise eyes to fight Kong. And he says, you can find the wax figures in his magic ring to defeat him.
Did you say like swallow the wise eyes or
yes,
something like that?
That's what it was. You got to eat these wise eyes. I'd be like, fuck you, bro.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no thanks. But he does so that he can see like this realm of magic, I guess.
The secret door.
Yeah. So he also gives him an amulet too. I think it's the same amulet.
Same one. Yeah.
That was like fighting against. Who knows?
It's like the one he was wearing. I don't know.
So after he eats these eyes, apparently not only does he have a doctorate in fucking medicine, he's got a doctorate in fucking magic. White magic to be exact. A fucking legend of his time. So Zong Ping goes right on over to fucking Kong's mansion right after this, and even has the kindness to ring the doorbell, by the way, which I thought was really weird.
Yeah.
Like, why are you, you guys aren't friends, dude. You
walk
just,
in.
like, everyone you know is dead. You don't need to ring the fucking door. Kick the fucking door down.
In, yeah. Be a man.
I was like, wow, man. It's like, so then he answers the door, or he goes in anyway. That's what it was. He goes in anyway, And he's like, hey, man, I'm down to fight. Can you open up? You know, like he enters. He's greeted by two weird mumbling statues that are on either side of the door. And they look kind of like Indians, like natives, like those old totems, like statues. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Like everything about it looks weird, like wood, but the mouths are like on either side of him. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? So Kong comes down saying, what do you want? And Zong Ping is like, yo, dude, the jig is up. I want my friends, bitch. Kong slaps, like he like slaps his hands together, clapping, and like four zombies that are in hoods like come out of nowhere and start fighting Zong Ping. And it turns into an action film at this point in time.
Yeah.
Which was I mean, fighting is okay. It's nothing amazing.
It's not like fighting with the rake outside.
No. Oh, like in Hobgoblins you're talking about?
It's excellent.
But they're like jumping up and down like they're on trampolines, which I thought was really funny. Cause like, I don't know, like I've seen in like
a lot of weird movements.
I've seen like old like vampire and zombie Chinese films where they like jump, they like hop around. So I'm assuming that's kind of, I don't know. I don't know what the fuck.
Jump on your toes and disable you. That's how they do it.
Wait, what?
I don't know. Like, jump on your toes and break them, and then you can't run away.
It's weird looking. It looks really kind of silly. Because like you can totally tell it's a fucking trampoline that they're jumping up and down on, but they're just like hopping up and down, trying to act normal. But Zong Ping jumps out a window, and then apparently Kong is like, they get into a fight, and he chases after Kong. And then all of a sudden, like this is the weird thing, they get on one of those ski lifts, like not a ski lift, but like a gondola. Is that what they call it? A sky gondola?
It's a sky tram.
Yeah, like it was like, you know, it's the ones that like go up on the top of the mountain, but they're like this carriage.
It's just to watch, like to look. Yeah, there's trams.
It's all enclosed.
It's a sky tram.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's basically what they're called. Like you can, at amusement parks, you can take them from like one side of the amusement park to the other.
Right.
Sky tram thing to like see everything. Or if you like, they have one in what the fuck? Palm Springs. They have one in Palm Springs, like the mountains or some shit. And then they do them at ski resorts too for people who don't ski or anything.
Right, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. Yeah, they just want to go up to the top of the mountain.
It's all visual thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So they like, for some reason, the movie turns into a fucking Bond film.
Yeah, it was fucking hilarious though.
Dude, total 70s fucking Bond film, dude.
I was laughing so fucking hard. I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
I thought that was like, I was like, what? And it's a long fight.
It was.
They're like punching each other through the windows and like wrestling around.
Many a time. Like there were so many times where he's like very clearly.
Oh, and it's like they had
holding on to nothing.
They had like this fake, or like they had like a real physical like one that was made to look like it was hanging from the sky, and they had like a big gigantic
like the weirdest
screen.
Green screenery ever. Like it was so strange.
Yeah, it's definitely pre-green screen, but they had like it shining in the background. It was so fake.
Yeah.
And they're like fighting all over, and I just was so distracted by how silly the whole fucking scene was.
Stupid. And then he jumps into the ocean.
Yeah, Kong gets away, and he's like, I can't believe he got away. And I'm like, well, you let him.
Could have just jumped in the ocean too, you dumbass.
He like, yeah, because I guess he wanted to get Kong to find his friends or bring him back to life or something. I'm so confused.
Whatever, I don't know either. It was weird.
So they go back to Kong's mansion, right? And he's driving a nail. Kong is driving a nail into the heads of every single dead person, including Zhang Shen, his wife, Margaret, and like many others. And he's like spitting blood on all of them while Quiling and Zong Ping show up. And he's like, wait here outside, you know, because it's safe. And I'm like, why did you bring her?
Exactly.
Like, I don't even know why he brought her. What, to like reverse some
and then
magic?
He makes her stay outside. I don't know. I was so fucking stupid.
She gets kidnapped by zombies, by the way, outside in hoods, while Margaret and Zhang Shen attack Zong Ping, but he pulls out their nails from their head in this weird fight scene. He's like, I just wanted to hear like that pop noise, like like a cork.
But I wanted to hear it too.
They did have some like silly music in one of the parts.
They had a lot of silly music in all of the parts.
Oh, when Zhang Shen and Quiling, which is Zong Ping's wife or whatever, is like falling in love, they had these weird like
it was dumb.
like winking noises and shit. Anyway, so Quiling is about to get raped by hooded zombies, apparently, for some reason. And they have, like, gray faces.
They're rapists now, like, whatever.
I didn't understand that either. No. So Zong Ping is in the basement where the fucking ritual place is, and he's like, he sets fire to a few wax figures, and they apparently is the same ones that are trying to rape Quiling.
I mean, luck.
I mean, why not?
Luck would have it.
Yeah, out of all the, like, 100 that are on the wall.
Yeah, like the 1,000 of them on the wall. It happens to be those 3.
4.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
they all happen to be together, too, which is really weird. I don't know.
Set each other on fire at this point.
They fought. I think he fought some other zombies down there. He was, like, running into different compartments.
Yeah, he fought a
rooms.
bunch of different ones.
It was kind of silly. But then Zong Ping, he uses his amulet to kind of, like, he's fighting Kong sort of in the basement, I think is what it was. And he uses, like, the amulet to melt the other remaining zombies, which was pretty cool, actually. Like, they just fall on the ground and just, like, melt like fucking the Wicked Witch of the West. And then he threatens Kong, which he says, I still have your wife, bro. Don't kill me yet.
Yeah.
So they, like, go back upstairs to find her, and the house is on fire because he set the zombies on fire upstairs, and she's, like, passed out. So they're, like, falling from the second floor off the balcony or some shit, right? That was kind of funny.
Yeah. It's like madness, like, just of dying zombies everywhere. I don't know.
There's a lot going on in this scene.
There's a whole lot. It's just a whole lot of fuckery, like, put into 5 minutes. I'm like, what is going on?
Somehow, Zong Ping actually drops the amulet or something like that, and Kong uses his ring against him. But Q-Ling comes up and, like, chops off his arm with the ring. And Zong Ping takes the fucking amulet and melts the shit out of Kong while the mansion kind of, like, burns behind them, and they kind of, like, embrace, and then...
It's over.
Over. 2-second credits and gone.
I was so annoyed because it was just like, this happens, and then they're, like, next to each other, and then it's, like, credits. I'm like, really?
I know.
Really? I mean, I'm glad it's over, but
there was
really?
some funny shit, though. Like, I was just laughing the whole time.
Yeah, I was laughing mostly because it was just so ridiculous. And I was like, this is great. Mouse can't wait to watch these movies.
Oh, he hasn't watched them yet.
No.
We need to watch the Human Lanterns trailer so we can get on that early. And if we can, I'll check and see if Corpse Mania is available somewhere.
Yeah.
That we can watch.
Sounds good.
Yeah, because I feel like, I don't know. I like this silly shit, man. Because, like, even though it's, like, hard to focus and we gotta, like, take a lot of fucking notes, like, I don't know. It's just kind of fun that way. I don't know. So, I think this is one of the best love stories
it's amazing.
that have ever been made.
It's so good. It's better than The Notebook.
Yeah. Like, what did you guys think? Have you seen these movies? Because I would love to hear if you have. Like, please sound off in the comments and let us know. Which do you prefer more and why? Things like that. I would love to hear what you think. Personally, I think it's a no contender. The second one is always going to be the best one just because it's not a typical fucking movie and it's just fucking out there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Just the fact that I never even heard of this nails in the head thing. I should have looked that up.
I thought that was excellent. I feel like I've seen that before, though.
Maybe it might be like old, like, Chinese, like, traditions.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that in a movie or something before, but
because apparently they're speaking Mandarin in this movie, like in both of them. So I don't know. I don't know the differences, the subtle differences, but yeah, guys, that's it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed our little breakdown of the whole fucking movie. I hope that to God that you could have followed along, and if you listen this far, let me know. Please just sound off in the comments because I love hearing from you guys. It's one of the best parts about doing this show. So next week we will be back. I got my buddy Try Hard Heroes who's going to be coming on to do a Grave Plots with us. So we don't know what that's going to be about yet. But Brittany's going to be taking a break that week. And then coming back, hopefully we'll be doing something fun for the following week, but we'll definitely let you guys know.
We got Brightburn coming up. Gotta check
the
that.
27th, I think, or 26th. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for stopping by this week. If you know somebody that would enjoy these, our little rants about these movies, please share it with them. Tell your mom I love her, and we'll see you next week. And as always...
Like, that was so weird.
Stay weird, monsters.
Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. Tune in every Monday